Welcome to Capcom Burgers, home of the Mega Man Burger. How may I take your order, sir?
Yeah, let me get a double Mega Man burger. How about that?
Coming right up, sir. There we go. There we go, sir. That'll be $4.
What the fuck is this? Why'd you cut my goddamn burger in half?
Well, you see, we've got our competitive eating team coming in for practice. Because they're having their big competition next month. We need all the hamburgers that we can afford to give them for the competition, you see.
Alright, let me get this fucking straight. I'm paying full price for half a burger because you've got these dumbasses that think eating is a sport that want to compete and they're going to get my other half of the burger. Is that what you're telling me? Is that really what you're telling me?
Well, I don't know if I exactly put it that way, but you get the general gist. Yeah, that's about right.
You know what? Fuck them and fuck you.
You want fries with that?
You son of a bitch! Let's get one thing straight right now. I am not and never have been a pro fighting game player. When I was a kid and fighting games came along, I had two uses for them and still do. Beating the arcade mode and fighting against my friends when they came over to my house. That's it. If I went to the arcade, I didn't stand in line to compete against other players. I just went to the fighting machine that had nobody at it so I could try to beat the machine. And if anyone came and sat their quarter on my machine while I was playing, I would just spam the fuck out of them, get them out of my game as quickly as possible so I could go back to trying to beat the arcade game. I never gave a shit about the competitive stuff, and I still don't. I care about beating the game, beating my friends, and that's it. I don't care about beating strangers. I don't care about fighting against people I don't know, and I never have.
Now, I, like many of you, got started with Street Fighter 2. Well, technically I started with Karate Champ, but I didn't start enjoying it until Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 essentially defined the general formula for all fighting games that came after it, including most of the 3D fighters. It has a rich and storied legacy and is a major milestone in the history of video games.
Of course, this is 21st century Capcom we're talking about here. It was only a matter of time before they took notice of one of their classic franchises and experienced great pleasure in ripping its head off and shitting down its gaping throat hole. Hence, we have Street Fighter V.
Let's just cut to the chase, alright? This is a rushed, half-assed piece of shareware bullshit. You remember back in 1994 when ID Software released the first part of Doom for free, and you had to pay for the rest of the game? Yeah, Street Fighter V is like that, only you pay $60 for the first part, and will continue paying for the rest of it until Street Fighter VI comes out. Holy shit, where to begin? Okay, first off, Capcom have become such cheapskates that they don't even give you the complete intro to the game. The animated intro is a shortened version of a much longer scene we got in one of the earlier trailers for the game. What the fuck is up with that shit? Then you're immediately forced into a super basic tutorial section before you even get to the main menu, using still shot cutscenes that look for all the world like storyboards for actual cutscenes that were never produced. The game has a full training mode to teach you every character's moveset, so why the fuck is this even in here? Now, I would expect this storyboard cutscene bullshit from lower budget fighters like BlazBlue or Arcana Heart, but a fucking 21st century Street Fighter game? What, did their power get cut off that month? When you finally make it to the main menu, you'll notice right off the bat there is no arcade mode. It's just not there. There's not a place for it that's grayed out, or a place for it that tells you coming soon when you click on it, it's not there at all. What you do have is story mode, survival mode, training mode, versus mode, challenge mode, and online player versus player. Story mode is a half-assed piece of shit with more of those wonderful storyboard cutscenes with some of the worst voice acting I've ever fucking heard. It's beyond horrible, almost original Resident Evil levels of badness. It's like they gave their cleaning staff a case of beer to record the lines for them. It's fucking atrocious. You have 16 playable characters to start, with several Street Fighter mainstays noticeably absent, including Guile, Honda, Blanca, Balrog, Sagat, you get the idea. They've been replaced, some of them returning characters from previous titles and some completely new. The only new character worth a shit is Rashid, and he was ripped right from that old Midway arcade game, Mace the Dark Age. Yeah, Dr. Trey was actually right about something. I know, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, right? At any rate, this so-called story mode consists of the aforementioned cutscenes and shitty voice acting, with 2 to 4 fights per story depending on the character. Completing them earns that character experience, and you earn fight money. What is fight money? It's in-game currency that you're supposed to be able to use to unlock new characters and costumes. Of course, if you really try to actually go spend any of that fight money, you get a nice shiny notice letting you know that you can't do that until a month from now. I'm not making this shit up. A good portion of the game's main menu are coming attractions of modes and features that don't fucking exist yet. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? It doesn't stop with the store either. You want to try challenge mode? Too bad, coming in March. You want the real full story mode that's supposed to take the place of the arcade mode for this game? Better take a nap on that one. It's coming in fucking June. Oh, and that fight money isn't the only currency. Oh no. Once the store opens a month from now, you'll be able to use real-world cash to buy in-game cash. You know, that way you can buy all those characters without actually earning any of them. Training mode works, and so does survival mode, a slogfest where you try to make it through 30 to 100 straight fights in one life. Points earned can be used to buy various perks between rounds, like refilling your health bar, increased defense, and so on. But of course, if you want to earn trophies or achievements with this mode, no perks allowed. This mode is the closest thing to arcade mode the game even has. I mean, how hard would it have been to put in a traditional arcade mode if they were able to do this shit? Come on, man. Mortal Kombat had the classic tower modes that gave you several variations on the classic arcade mode. Why couldn't this game just have one? For fuck's sake! The graphics look great and the music is well done, though honestly, a lot of it doesn't feel like Street Fighter music to me. And while the graphics are sharp, fluid, and well animated, aside from the resolution, it doesn't look any better or more advanced to me than Super Street Fighter 4 did on the PS3. It's a minor issue when it comes to a fighting game, but I honestly expected some kind of graphical leap aside from the jump from 720p on the PS3 to 1080p on the PS4. Would it have hurt you so much to make it just a little better looking? Gameplay-wise, what can you say? It's Street Fighter. The gameplay when playing solo runs mostly smooth and at 60 frames per second, but there was one intermittent issue that I picked up on, and maybe it's just me. The strong kick and strong punch buttons have been mapped to R1 and R2 on the DualShock 4, and sometimes, at random, the game seems to stop recognizing those buttons, so I end up hitting the trigger or bumper 2 and 3 times before it responds. It doesn't happen with every match, but it happens every now and again nonetheless. I wish that was the only problem, but then you've got the whole multiplayer issue. Oh my god. I have sat trying to get into a match, whether it be a ranked match or a casual match. I have sat for over 40 minutes waiting and have never gotten into a match. Not even once. And that's not even going into the server problems. Holy shit, it's been up and down, up and down, up and down more than a kangaroo during the mating season. Hell, last night, my wife tried to get into a match. She never could get into one. She gets a tweet saying that it's going to be down for an hour. Then she gets another tweet from Capcom saying, give us another hour. Then she got another tweet from Capcom saying, hey, we'll get it up when we get it up. We don't really know when that's going to happen. Are you for real? Are you fucking for real? At the time of this review, it seems to be about 50-50 as to whether a match will even happen or not. Same with the customizable battle arenas that you can create and invite your friends to. Sometimes they get the invite but can't get in. Sometimes they never get the invite. Before you Xbox fans start trying to use this as attack fodder, these issues are occurring on both PS4 and PC. It's not a PSN issue. Street Fighter fanboys are damage controlling this game all over the web, being quick to point out that Capcom has gone on record stating they released the game in this state so the tournament players could get their hands on it in time for the next big tournament. I call bullshit on this. If that were the case, they could have packaged the online mode alone as the Street Fighter V Tournament Edition and sold it on PSN or Steam for $30 and just not released the full retail edition until June, so all the features would be on the fucking disc. But they didn't. Why? Most likely for the same reason that Square Enix is releasing new games chopped up into episodes. Because they didn't expect the current gen consoles to sell well, so their initial games made for this gen were built around episodic content so that each episode released could pay for the next episode rather than investing the full development costs up front. That way, if the first episode failed, they wouldn't have to swallow as big of a loss as they would on a full retail release. The difference here is that Capcom decided that releasing Phase 1 of Street Fighter V on a retail disc meant charging full price for half the content. And while some of the missing stuff will be added for free, you can bet your bottom dollar that some of it won't be. Honestly, if Capcom was so worried about the sales of this title up front, they should have gone with the model Microsoft used for Killer Instinct. Street Fighter V should have been $20 to get all the basic fighter, arcade mode, and player versus player, and then build onto that episodically in seasons rather than charge $60 for a disc with next to nothing on it. That would have made far more sense than borrowing a page from Nintendo and not releasing the game until all of it was on the disc and bug-free.
Bottom line, if you bought Street Fighter V prior to June of 2016, you paid $60 for the shareware version of a fighting game. You're paying Capcom for the right to beta test their shitty-ass rushed software. And no, I will not be revisiting this game for a follow-up review after all the missing shit has been patched in. If Capcom thought that what was on the disc at release was good enough for full retail price, then what's on the disc now is good enough for this review in perpetuity. Because they felt half a game was worth $60, then the best I can give them is half of what the full score would have been had it been a full game at release. Street Fighter V gets a 3.5 out of 7. Barth? What kind of fucking name is Barth? It sounds like Barth. What kind of parent would name their kid Puke?
It's short for Bartholomew.
You're an asshole, you know that?
I heard that.
God damn it.